Hi, this is Nick Malone, the editor for FistShark Marketing. If you enjoy our weekly attempts to blur the line between satire and slander, we hope you'll support us with a small monthly contribution through Patreon. For less than the cost of our Inevitable Legal Defense Fund, you can help us build our Inevitable Legal Defense Fund. Just go to fistshark.com and click the big Patreon logo for more information. Thanks for listening, and enjoy the show.
Miley Cyrus is a bit upset this week, and to be honest, I don't blame her.
Oh.
When is she not upset, though?
Yeah, it's always some little problem here or there that she has to turn into a big uproar.
I know we're certainly annoyed with her after she threw that tantrum because we said she couldn't drink chocolate syrup straight out of a can on stage. This time there is a very genuine grievance, and it's not based on things she wants to do that we've told her she shouldn't do because it's bad for her career. This might actually be bad for her career, and it's someone else doing it, and I feel we should put a stop to it.
Okay, alright, so what's the issue?
Right, as you know, as we all know because we do keep up on politics, Ted Cruz, or Ted Cruz, I can't remember exactly how he's pronouncing his name these days, announced his presidential bid for the presidency, of all things, and has been doing some extreme things to try and make himself look more cool and hip and with it. One of which is taking photographs of him and his wife, photoshopping his wife's face out of them and photoshopping Miley Cyrus's face in a bid to, if not convince us that he's married to Miley Cyrus, at least convince us he's married to someone who looks a heck of a lot like Miley Cyrus.
Wow. I'm surprised that Ted Cruz can even understand, let alone use Photoshop. I mean, the man couldn't even set up his own website before announcing his candidacy.
It's possible he may have hired a team of web designers and web gurus to create the Photoshops. Whether he's doing it himself or whether he's paid a team of 26, we're not quite sure. But either way, it's an issue. Miley has not been this mad since Corey Feldman set up his wine cooler social and invited just her and Victoria Justice.
This could really, really hurt Miley's career opportunities because, I mean, the image we've crafted of her is that sort of devil-may-care rebel who just seeks to express herself. And that is just about the opposite of Ted Cruz, a very conservative, very tight individual. Her image could be utterly shattered by this because if there is photographic, chicanery going on where the two of these are paired so close together, people are going to start to realize that in reality, Miley is actually a very straight-laced conservative human being. And we've put way too much into this to let that be destroyed.
This is true. That's my concern. Her concern is she thinks he's one of the puppets from Yo Gabba Gabba.
I just don't understand why he has to drag one of our clients into it. I mean, can't we just help him out and throw him a pack of Kool-Aid and have him drink it on MTV? I mean, do the kids really want this? Is this what's defined as hip now?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, I'm not inclined to do anything to throw Ted Cruz a bone because we reached out to him when he was about to announce his presidential bid, and he turned us down. And he went with one of our competitors, and to be honest, I'm not having it.
So now he's throwing one of our clients under the bus. So that's just rubbing salt in the wound.
Pretty much.
Well, if he had come to us, we probably could have developed a plan wherein we could use Miley Cyrus to help further his political aspirations. I think that absolutely could have happened. But to deny us the business and then go off and use our valuable property, it's unacceptable.
Yeah, or at the very least, use Selena Gomez. Because, to be honest, I don't give a fuck what happens with her.
Well, here's the thing.
I find her annoying.
I mean, we could, if we wanted to, we could have Miley pursue legal action. We just have to get her English lessons first, because we all know she doesn't know how to write or sign her name. But once we move past that hurdle, we might be able to throw something in their faces and get some money out of it.
She grinds her teeth.
Like, she's, like, in response to this, news? Or
No, Selena.
Selena Gomez.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But
So we're still
not
on...
not just not closed-mouthed grind teeth. Lips pulled back. Like the Alien Queen or something. Right, just pulled back, and then just the bottom row jutting out in front of the front row, the top row, and just grind.
Is there a reason for doing that? Like, does this serve a purpose?
She makes unblinking eye contact with me when she does it.
Is she thinking about what to say next, or is this part of a conversation? Like, what's the circumstances under which she does this?
I think she just tries to get under my skin. She ate my turkey sandwich in the fridge.
Jim, are you insinuating that we maybe pass off Selena as like a truce?
I'm just saying, if there is any situation where we have the opportunity to offer up Selena Gomez as some sort of sacrificial scapegoat of any sorts, whether that's figuratively or literally, I'm all for it.
Because she grinds her teeth.
She leaves a smell on my chair when she sits on it.
Okay.
It's like old oranges and meat.
That is surprising.
That is while that is disgusting, Miley is the issue we should probably deal with, right? I mean, Miley Cyrus, your client.
Love Miley Cyrus.
Your biggest client, Jim.
She's fantastic, very beautiful, and such a talent.
Truly remarkable. And we need to make sure that her interests are being served. So how are we going to deal with Ted Cruz?
Ah, yes, the Ted Cruz thing. Let's see. We could.
What?
No, we can't assassinate political figures, can we?
Well, there was that one time.
We can't do it in this country.
Oh, yes, I was thinking about the whole Slatvanian incident.
Right, yeah, I mean, we could arrange something outside of the United States, but if Cruz doesn't take, like, a campaign trip to, London or something, there's no way. I mean, it would get sussed out, and it would be a huge political fiasco.
True. How about we set him up in an embarrassing situation?
Some sort of scandal engineering.
I'm thinking we try and get it to where he is photographed eating a whole onion like a piece of fruit.
I like where you're going, Jim.
Ted Cruz, onion eater, could be the headline.
What might work better is if we use the situation to our advantage and have Miley divorce Ted publicly.
Oh, a divorce that would scupper his. People would like a happy married family in the White House.
Well, this just smacks of vengeance at this point. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, I am all in favor. He could have had all of this sweet action working for him. So I don't misunderstand my concern here. But I just want to make sure that we don't ruin Miley's prospects in the act of carrying out this. We don't want to tarnish her reputation, I guess is what I'm saying.
This is true. But then again, I mean, Miley Cyrus, the hot divorcee, it's got some traction.
That is true, because she is only going to be young for so long. And
that is true. I've noticed that's a temporary status on a lot of our clients. Annoyingly, I've had Dr. Nightscream try and look into it. Possibly to concoct some sort of elixir.
But in the meantime, if we can put her in a position to where once she hits like 28 years of age, she's got. I mean, it's effectively over for her unless we can come up with some other strategy. Positioning her as the hot divorcee MILF could be the route.
Mm-hmm.
Ted Cruz could be the key.
Divorcee MILF. Ted Cruz is the way forward. And that's how we show Selena Gomez that you do not fuck with the boys.
Gentlemen, Ramsay's back.
Oh, that's great news. Did he finally get some therapy? Are we ready to get him back on TV? Because we've got half a dozen potential projects that he would be ideal for.
Well, he's back and he's in the public eye. He's socializing. He was at an event the other night, but he's not quite there yet.
He's not ready to work.
Well, he has assumed another, shall we say, career path. Oh,
so he's no longer going to be Gordon Ramsay, celebrity chef extraordinaire.
No, he is under the impression that he has a greater mission to fulfill.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God, he didn't find Jesus, did he?
No, it's worse.
Okay, good, because I have been looking everywhere for him. I swear, he's not in this office anywhere.
It's not Jesus, but he is under the impression that there is evil in the world, and he needs to purge it.
I don't know what he might be talking about. Evil? No.
Well,
no evil anywhere.
Yeah, he's not been near this office in some time, so he can possibly know about...
right.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't worry about that, you two. It's the effects of Dog Island reach far beyond the mental state. He has ingrained in himself this sense of mission to defeat all canines in the world.
Well, I mean, I can understand why he would feel that way. Obviously, it was a traumatizing experience being on Dog Island for all that time, but it's not as though dogs are particularly threatening as long as they're not left to their own devices, as long as we're controlling them. That I can't. He should be able to see the difference between domesticated dogs and these creatures in the wild.
Well, the problem is he's not hunting dogs.
Okay, that's good, right?
Well, he's hunting people.
Oh.
He thinks werewolves walk among us.
Oh.
Gordon Ramsay has become a werewolf hunter.
Yes.
Right. That's different.
It's troubling, is what it is, because that is a man that I know is capable of taking another man's life without a second thought.
Oh, he can take a human twice his size down in 15 to 25 seconds. I've seen it happen.
And so if he is operating under the delusion that some people are afflicted with lycanthropy, this could be very dangerous.
Well, normally we just brush under the rug, right? You know, he kills off a few innocent human beings. We just make up some excuse, some disease. I mean, it's all per the norm. But this time he has a focus on celebrity werewolves. He thinks that there's a celebrity circle of werewolves that exist, and he's chasing them down and hunting them. And his latest victim is Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, not this again. I don't know how many times.
I don't believe in God, but if I did, I'd really start wondering if God wants Jeff Goldblum to survive.
Seriously, what is it that everyone has it out for poor Jeff? I've never known him to be anything but pleasant. And it's seemingly not a week goes by where we don't find some new threat to the life of Jeff Goldblum. And Gordon Ramsay, that's the last person I would have expected to fall in for some werewolf Jeff Goldblum rumor. It's madness.
Yeah, this does explain why Jeff phoned me up and said that there was a man on the roof opposite his apartment complex just screaming and hollering and shouting, "You fucking werewolf pillock. I'm gonna fucking stake you in the heart with my stake, you fucking prick." And waving an uncooked steak around.
He was using meat. He was gonna stake him with...
Well, one thing I've learned about Gordon Ramsay is no matter how far off the path of his career he diverges, he can't stop using food and cooking implements in what he's doing.
Right. Yeah. If it had been David Boreanaz that he decided to go hunt down, I'd have understood that. I'd have gotten that.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's at least precedent that Matt is some sort of creature of the night.
But not Jeff. He just doesn't have that killer instinct.
No, he's very docile, which may be why people pick on him. They might think he's easy prey, although they fail to realise that he's got gazelle-like speed and the reflexes of any natural prey in the wild. He's hard to catch.
He is a swift one. Yeah, he is very, very fast. The thing I was most intrigued by is that, like, even his hair, like that thick coat of fur that completely covers his body, is still hard to get a hold of. Like, it just slips right through your fingers.
Each individual hair actually moves to avoid contact. I've put my finger, like, near his arm and just watch, like those iron filings where you hold a magnet under it and can make hair and mustache on a drawing of a man. I've just seen the hair just part to avoid contact. I think that's actually what gives Jeff Goldblum his power, very much like Samson, is that the hair has its own sentience and just simply doesn't want to get touched because of its luxurious essential oils that it doesn't want contaminated.
I wonder if that's how Gordon thinks he's a werewolf. Maybe that's why he's been targeted.
On second thoughts, yeah, like when you look at Jeff, he does look exactly like a werewolf man.
He really does. Yeah, I'm so used to seeing him in casual clothing, but if you look at the nudes that he supplied back when he was looking for any work, really, and we had that porn producer who was looking for something with a little celebrity fire. I cannot believe he didn't get that job either.
And of course, he had no clothes on when he was in Jurassic Park, and the only time he ever deigned to be shorn for the role of Velociraptor 3.
And he was sick for months after that. I think you're right. I think that there's something about the coat of fur that he has that does protect and power him.
It's like a hairy exoskeleton.
Well, what are we going to do about Gordon then? I mean, is he a threat to Jeff at this point?
I don't think so, because like Jim said, his tactics so far, as he's explained them to me, has been to wave around raw pieces of meat and just shout things at people. And in fact, when he came to me, the reason I found this out was because he wanted to start a new show where we would film him hunting the werewolves. So, I mean, to be honest, why don't we just set up a camera crew and have him stalk through the woods or something?
That's not a bad idea. I'm sure the History Channel would pick that up in a heartbeat.
That is true. Plus, everyone knows that when Gordon Ramsay finishes filming a TV show, he goes to sleep for 6 months. So getting him into his hibernation state gives us time to come up with a more long-term solution.
Okay, so Easter was a tremendous success for our friends at Cadbury. They have just done a fantastic job sales-wise. It's been just their biggest year yet in terms of profit margin.
That is great news. I know that their competitor Hershey was trying to push them out of the U.S. market, but it just makes me so glad to hear that didn't happen.
I think they're still going to be fighting that for a while. That battle's probably going to be going on. But in the meantime, they have managed to work up production so cheap that they're effectively getting their eggs out into the marketplace for literally half pennies on the dollar.
Are we referring to Project Eggbirth?
Yes, Eggbirth has been a big, it's almost too big. It's almost been too successful, and some of the scientists are starting to get a little bit concerned. But at least in the meantime, this fiscal year, this quarter, solid. Truly solid. We have never been able to make this much money for a company on individual per unit pricing.
That's ultimately all that matters.
Right, yeah.
Is how are we doing this fiscal year? Let's worry about next year. Next year, You say too much of a success, though. Now, run me through the science of what has occurred, because I don't quite get it.
Okay, so what they wanted to do was find a way to streamline the process of producing their classic Cadbury cream egg. Now, as you know, they've had an automated machinery system in place for the last few decades, and it's worked well. But they found that they needed a way to increase production and decrease costs, or they were just not going to be able to break even on a 10-year projection.
And I loved the festive bent they were going for with this. I don't understand the science, but I certainly appreciate the fact that they tried to keep this thematic and festive.
Well, yeah, they are a company that, they are the Easter company in a lot of people's eyes. And that Cadbury bunny is as a symbol of Easter and of the Cadbury cream egg has always been very effective for them. And so they wanted to pursue a strategy that was in line with that. And so Project Eggbirth is trying to achieve that path. They have found a way through a process of extensive surgery and gene therapy so that humans can now produce the Cadbury egg. Now, I know that they could have done this with bunnies.
Or indeed chickens.
Well, they could have done it with chickens, I suppose. But, they wanted to create something that didn't require any animal cruelty. They're really big on that at Cadbury.
And that's why they injected a bunch of hormones into people to turn them into basically large bipedal. Calling them rabbits is a stretch.
Right, well, I mean...
I certainly appreciate where they tried. The long ears, the fur, the twitching nose. The screams I'm not so much a fan of. I don't feel that's particularly...
I mean, rabbits do scream. I don't know if you've ever heard screaming rabbits before. It is, it's actually quite lovely. But these tones are just shrill, painful sounding, and constant.
Yeah, they're not quite ready to, say, be rented out to high-income families for a fun Easter egg hunt for the kids.
No, indeed.
No. They scream, they grasp towards normal people with their hands, screaming, "What has become of me?"
Well, and they constantly produce a steady stream of Cadbury eggs through their anus. And, I mean, setting aside the fact that we may never want to let the word get out that this is how they're being produced now, because I think that there are some associations that people will have with the, Cadbury cream egg and the method of its introduction.
People in general do not want to eat chocolate that's come from a monster's rectum.
Right. So we're going to have to keep that on the down low.
I mean, but these creatures are, what? They must be at least 75% rabbit. I mean, could we at least say that on the package?
Well, yeah, we probably could. We could probably say that. But again, I think people don't want to think about their people really don't want to know where their food comes from, honestly. They prefer that to be kept a mystery.
People don't want to know how the egg is shat.
No.
Oh, I just assumed through the commercial, the bunny literally hopping off the pile of Cadbury eggs. I thought that's what people gravitated towards.
We got a cartoon rabbit jumping off a pile of eggs. It's technically disclosure.
Yeah. The purpose of that was always to just sort of indicate, hey, nod and a wink to the process, but not actually outright disclosing the process.
Ah, gotcha.
That's the key. This way they could get away with having the shat eggs on the market, and rather than have to include a disclaimer in small print text on the bottom, just showing the rabbit leaping off of the eggs, demonstration enough. If people can't understand that this is where their eggs come from viewing that, not our problem, not our fault.
Not our problem at all.
That's their issue. The problem we're running into is the production rate on this is simply too good. We are going to run out of storage for eggs, and we can't stop them.
They've not stopped.
They've not stopped. And it's so expensive to produce one of these things that, it was an initial outlay investment that we expected over the course of a 12-month period would more than make up the difference. And we were right. But they're considered too valuable to just kill? I mean, these are company assets.
Of course, we're not going to destroy company assets just because they make too many chocolates.
Right. I mean, that would be absurd to eliminate assets that were being too efficient, too productive. But now we're going to have a problem with storage of these eggs. We may need to try and figure out other times of year that we can sell them.
Egg Day.
Egg Day?
Yep.
I'm not familiar with that day.
No one is yet, but I'm just spitballing here. I'm just trying to think of new holidays we can come up with to maybe sell these eggs. Egg Day, Egg Day 2, lots of eggs. Wednesday.
Lots of eggs Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that could be just like a monthly thing. Maybe we get the Egg Producers of America on board, and we get them to, make eggs for dinner. The white and yellow meat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, these still are the chocolate eggs being produced. Are they producing real eggs?
But maybe if we elevate eggs into the general consciousness, the chocolate egg is going to rise right along with it, probably faster. I mean, it's just like white milk versus chocolate milk. Chocolate milk, in a situation where kids are given the opportunity to choose between white milk and chocolate milk, they always go chocolate milk. So really what we're doing is we're elevating awareness of standard eggs, but under the radar, we're pushing chocolate eggs to kids.
Can we convince America that hearts are shaped like eggs?
I can't imagine that would be that difficult. I mean, people think
week.
hearts are shaped like hearts.
Yeah, that is true. We just reposition it so that people think they're shaped. In all honesty, a human heart is closer to the shape of an egg than it is to the current cartoon drawing of a heart.
Yes.
So there's Valentine's Day locked up.
Mm.
Halloween, just claim their pumpkins, long pumpkins.
Like a squash.
Like a squash.
The Cadbury squash.
The Cadbury squash.
Chocolate squash. Yeah.
How about a whole week-long holiday, egg poop bunny boy?
Now that's very specific.
It's on the nose.
Yeah.
It's on the nose.
We could do an egg miss.
Just straight up egg miss.
Egg miss.
Merry egg miss.
It rolls off the tongue.
It does. It does.
How about International Push Selena Gomez into a River Day?
Okay, I'm not opposed to it. I think that there's potential for the holiday. I'm not sure how the eggs are going to fit in. Maybe that's just the traditional gift that you give to someone after they have...
Throw them at her while she's splashing.
Oh, okay. All right.
Throw the eggs at Selena Gomez hard.
Day.
FistShark Marketing is Jim Sterling, Conrad Zimmerman, and Caitlin Cook. Theme music by Ben Rama. Segue music by Alizar Chan. Our editor is Nick Malone. Get more episodes and learn how to help support the show at FistShark.com. Follow us on Twitter at FistShark for more of our exploits. Complaints can be forwarded via email to fistsharkmarketing@aol.com. And remember, eventually, everyone becomes a statistic. Goodbye.